Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisance as Olga Shishir Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we continue with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 38. We're getting pretty close to the end of the chapter entitled The Punishment and Reward of Kali. This morning we are happy to have His Grace Dhira Krishna Prabhu with us from ISKCON Harrisburg, and actually he's split. His ISKCON Harrisburg and Berks Bhakti Yoga. But he's basically in Harrisburg. So that's our, strong devotee. So thank you for joining us. And we hope, without further delay, we'll start the class. And it's all yours, Dhira Krishna. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All grace to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for this service, for my own purification. And you mentioned a strong devotee. I'm really not sure about it, but yeah, at least trying something. So thank you. So welcome all the devotees to today's Bhagavatam class. Let's start with Mangala Charan. All of us can sing together in our minds or in whatever situation we are in. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Svadvetam Sabadhutam Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarorbhyasha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnamebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Hare Krishna, all devotees. Welcome once again to this morning's Bhagavatam class. So by the mercy and blessings of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Parampara, and all the devotees, we'll try to understand today's verse. It's a little long purport, but a lot of nice points. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse number 38. And the name of the chapter is Punishment and Reward of Kali. So very interesting title if we see. Is getting both the punishment and reward, right? Kali, and that is the strong nature of Kali, right? That we get, or strong nature of this material life. We get punishment as well as rewards for our karma, right? And if we see, Kali is in very rush, too much in hurry to influence, to put his influence. So we'll read the verse. Suta uvacha abhyarthitastada tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau dyutam panam striya suna yatra dharmas chaturvidha. Actually, the yatra adharmas chaturvidha. Suta uvacha abhyarthitastada tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau dyutam panam striya suna yatra adharmasya chaturvidha. Suta uvacha abhyarthitastada tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau dyutam panam striya suna yatra adharmasya chaturvidha. So, any devotee who would like to recite?
Sutta uvacha abhyathitastada tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau yutam panam striya suna yatra dharmas chaturvidha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Sutta vacha abhyatirtastada tasmai sthanani kalaye dadau dyutyam panam striya suna yatra dharmas chaturvidha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maybe one more devotee, if anyone would like to.
Sutta vacha abhyarthitastata tasmai sthanani kalaye tatau dyutam panam sriya suna yatra dharmas chatur vitaha.
Wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So word to word meaning. Sutaha uvacha. Suta Goswami said, Abhyarthitaha, thus being petitioned. Tada, at that time. Tasmai, unto him. Sthanani, places. Kalaye, to the personality of Kali. Dadau, gave him permission. Dyutam, gambling. Panam, drinking. Striya, illicit association with woman. Suna, animal slaughter. Yatra, wherever. Adharma, sinful activities. Chaturvidha, 4 kinds of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. Purport: the basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the 4 principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given permission to live in 4 places. He was given permission to live in 4 places. Particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, the place of prostitution, the place of drinking, and the place of animal slaughter. Srila Jiva Goswami directs that drinking against the principles of scriptures, such as Swatra Mani Yagna, association with women outside marriage, and killing animals against the injunctions of scriptures are irreligious. In the Vedas, two different types of injunctions are there for pravartas and or those who are engaged in material enjoyment, and for the nivratas or those who are liberated from material bondage. Very important point. Two different types of instructions are given in Vedas for different type of people who have different consciousness. The Vedic injunction for the pravartas is to gradually regulate their activities towards the path of liberation. Therefore, for those who are in the lowest stage of ignorance and who indulge in wine, women, and flesh, drinking by performing Swatramani Yagna, association of women by marriage, and flesh eating by sacrifices are sometimes recommended. Such recommendations in the Vedic literature are meant for a particular class of men and not for all. But because they are injunctions of the Vedas for particular types of persons, such activities by the pravartas are not considered adharma. One man's food may be poison for others. Similarly, what is recommended for those in the mode of ignorance may be poison for those in the mode of goodness. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu therefore affirms that recommendations in the scriptures for a certain class of man are never to be considered adharma or irreligious. But such activities are factually adharma and they are never to be encouraged. Interesting. The recommendations in the scriptures are not meant for the encouragement of such adharma, but for regulating the necessary adharma gradually toward the path of dharma. Following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit, it is the duty of all executive heads of states to see that the principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, are established in the state, and that the principles of irreligion, namely pride, illicit female association or prostitution, intoxication, and falsity, are checked by all means. And to make the best use of a bad bargain, the personality of Kali may be transferred to places of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and slaughterhouses, if there are any places like that. Those who are addicted to these irreligious habits may be regulated by the injunctions of the scripture. In no circumstances should they be encouraged by any state. In other words, the state should categorically stop all sorts of gambling, drinking, prostitution, and falsity. The state which wants to eradicate corruption by majority may introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. Number 1, 2 compulsory fastings in a month, if not more austerity. Even from the economic point of view, such 2 fasting days in a month in the state will save tons of food, and the system will also act favorably on the general health of the citizens. Number 2, there must be compulsory marriage of young boys and girls attaining 24 years of age and 16 years of age respectively. There is no harm in co-education in the schools and colleges, provided the boys and girls are duly married, and in case there is any intimate connection between a male and female student, they should be married properly without illicit relation. The Divorce Act is encouraging prostitution, and this should be abolished. Number 3, the citizens of the state must give in charity up to 50% of their income for the purpose of creating a spiritual atmosphere in the state or in human society, both individually and collectively. They should preach the principles of Bhagavatam by Karma Yoga, or doing everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. B. Regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam from authorized persons or realized souls. Chanting of the glories of the Lord congregationally at home and at places of worship. Rendering all kinds of service to Bhagavatas, engaged in preaching Srimad Bhagavatam, and residing in a place where the atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. If the state is regulated by the above process, naturally there will be God consciousness everywhere. Gambling of all description, even speculative business enterprise, is considered to be degrading. And when gambling is encouraged in the state, there is a complete disappearance of truthfulness. Allowing young boys and girls to remain unmarried more than the above mentioned ages, and licensing animal slaughterhouses of all description should be at once prohibited. The flesh eaters may be allowed to take flesh as mentioned in the scriptures and not otherwise. Intoxication of all description, even smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, or the drinking of tea, must be prohibited. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So very well, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the problems in the modern society, modern governments, problem with modern leaders, and he is giving the formula for the end of corruption. So many movements, anti-corruption movements are going on in the whole world. But because they are not based on these principles of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are not able to bring the true results. So just to start with the context, when Maharaj Parikshit saw Kali hitting the feet of cow, Mother Earth personified, and the bull, religion personified, he chastised Kali very heavily. We saw in the previous verses. So Kali was about to be killed by Parikshit Maharaj, but then Kali is very clever. He's intelligent, cleverly intelligent, right? That is nature of Kali, duplicious. He changed his aggressive mood and he surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj. And he asked for a shelter. He said, I have taken your shelter, so now I am your subject in your kingdom. So I need shelter. So as a true Kshatriya and as a Raj Rishi, one who is Raj Rishi, one who is ruling the kingdom based on the principles of Vedic scriptures. So being a Raj Rishi and the perfect king, Maharaj Parikshit, it was his duty to give him the shelter to his subjects. So Maharaj Parikshit allowed him to reside in 4 places. Those 4 places are described in this verse. If we see the verse, what it says, 4 places are Dyutam Panam Striya Suna. Meaning 4 places are where Kali was allowed by Maharaj Parikshit to stay. Places where gambling is going on, where drinking of what? Drinking of alcohol, intoxication is going on, prostitution, illicit relationships are going on, and animal slaughter is going on. So 4 places. Now, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport how these 4 places or these 4 things. So religion, the principles of religion, principle of dharma is actually, it stands on 4 things. There are 4 legs. What are those legs? Austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. These are the 4 legs of dharma. And our Acharya explains that how in this age of Kali Yuga, the 3 legs are already lost. 3 legs of dharma are already lost. The leg of austerity, cleanliness, and mercy is already gone. Somehow, Kali is standing on the one leg, truthfulness, right? So if somebody has 4 legs, he is used to stand or run on 4 legs, we can imagine how difficult it is for this Kali Yuga to proceed just standing on one leg. How difficult it is, to go on in this age of Kali Yuga based on the principles of dharma. And we may also wonder how come, we are already seeing so much of falsity in this age. So this 4th leg is also very shaky in this. Not even like 5,000 years are just over of this age of Kali Yuga, and already we are seeing the 4th leg is also shaking. So we can imagine so many 400,000, more than 400,000 years more to go. What will be the situation of this Kali Yuga? So these 4 principles of religion, austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, they directly relate to these 4 places or 4 activities: gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. So very important to note here that whatever Srila Prabhupada gave to us in the form of 4 regulative principles is not just made up by him. There is a proof here in this verse here that he whatever he gave to us was purely based on the scriptures, right? So this what are those regulative principles that we are supposed to follow in the shelter of Srila Prabhupada? No illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, no intoxication. So all those 4 principles directly relate to these 4 activities. So the reason he gave us these 4 principles, because Kali stays in these 4 places. So if we want to save ourselves from the influence of Kali, then we need to stay away from these 4 things, 4 activities. Srila Prabhupada also mentions in his one of the lecture that if such places are promoted where these things are going on, the Kali gets strength. And if such places are curbed, if we can isolate these places or start cutting down these places, the power of Kali will be diminished. So it's not a rocket science to see that everywhere in this age, we are seeing the influence of these 4 activities at a grand scale. So often people say that anyway, this age of Kali is for degradation and it will further go down, right? That's what we hear. This is the nature of Kali. Then what can we do about it? Just accept it. But Srila Prabhupada, as genius as he is, and as optimistic he is, he says, just like, let's say when it rains, right? Do we just sit? Let's say it's raining heavily and everything is getting poured or soaked. So do we just go out and start our activities, keep on doing our activities, getting soaked? No. We get an umbrella and save ourselves, right, from that rain. Similarly, although this is the nature of Kali, that these activities will keep on increasing and the age of quarrel and conflict will keep on increasing, but for a sane person, for a really intelligent person, he will find means to protect himself from the influence of Kali, right? So as a devotee, as a sadhak, as a practicing devotee, that is our duty, to save ourselves, not to just save ourselves, but even to save others, right? So when we see that, so in Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj, it is mentioned that Maharaj Parikshit got very alert after he met with Kali, and although he gave him these 4 places, it's not that he said, okay, these places can run, right? What he made sure in his kingdom that these 4 places where these activities could be practiced, they are not at all there. No place where people can gamble or drink or practice prostitution or do animal slaughter. So as a Raj Rishi, he strongly discouraged these activities. So this is a advice that Prabhupada is giving to the modern day leaders, political leaders, that if they really want to banish corruptions, if they really want to remove corruption, then they are trying so many means, but they don't know the real formula which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Instead, what is going on? These so-called leaders, political leaders, they encourage or they even issue licenses for gambling houses, for the wine, liquor shops, for places of prostitution. It's all licensed. Can we imagine that? Cinema houses, and there is a falsity in every dealing, untruthfulness. Even leaders are not following the truthful path. How can we expect, right, others to follow? Right. This is the nature of this modern day of society. So that's why these all anti-corruption movements, they are of no use because they are not based on the principles of Srimad Bhagavatam. These leaders talk about, there is a slogan for America, right? In God we trust. They want the kingdom of God, but without God consciousness. How is that possible? Right? This is contradictory. So if we really want to drive out corruption from our state, from our country, from our society, from the whole world, the answer lies in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, in these purports of Srila Prabhupada, in the formula given to us by Srila Prabhupada. See, the vision of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, of anti-corruption campaign is very different, if we see that. It is purely based on 4 principles: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, and no gambling. Plus, the most important part, the spreading of Sankirtana movement. Just chant and glorify Krishna and his names. So when one is involved in these sinful activities, what happens? He commits sins, right? So just for example, we are aware of this city with the name Las Vegas, right? I think it is personified Kali. There is also a nice slogan about Vegas. What happens in Vegas, it stays in Vegas, right? Kind of comfort is given, like whatever you do after going there, don't worry, it's all good. Nothing will come out. It will be your secret. This is the concept of free will, complete freedom in this society. Actually, it's a way to hell. But it is not just about Vegas. If we see this culture that we see in that Vegas is actually spreading in all towns and cities. There are many Vegas everywhere, full of sinful activities, right? Happy hour. People who, all of us are aware of these happy hours at work, right? People organize, oh, let's have a happy hour tonight. What do they do? All these 4 things there. That is their standard or level of consciousness or happiness, right? So if we see the statistics at Google, we see just in US alone, more than 8 billion gallons of alcohol, more than 8 billion gallons of alcohol, just in US. I couldn't find the global, statistics. I'm sure it is available somewhere. That much of alcohol is consumed every year. More than 92 billion land animals globally, they are slaughtered, not just killed. The word used is slaughtered every year. And this is just the land animals. If we include the sea life, the marine life, it would probably go up to more than 600 billion lives are slaughtered every year. How much karma? How much sinful reaction? And then we worry about, or we wonder, how come each country is at war with each other, is in conflict with each other? How come the communities are at conflict with each other? How come these persons are at conflict with each other? Why can't they live with peace and love and harmony? Not possible with this kind of karma, sinful reaction, not just at the personal level, but as a group consciousness. There is a personal consciousness and there is a community, the group consciousness. Practically not possible. But what is the solution? This process of Krishna consciousness, the process of devotion, so glorious that in spite of all sins, if one has committed, but if one can just surrender to Krishna, to this devotion life, and Krishna and his devotees, 100%, Srila Prabhupada says, he will be freed from all sinful reactions very quickly, very quickly. So what is a happy hour for a Krishna conscious person, for a devotee? Go along with family, not just with family, but with our friends, whomever we can take. Go to temple, hear Krishna Katha, participate in Kirtan, dance, sing Kirtan, serve the mission of our Guru Parampara, eat Prasadam, Krishna Prasadam, and become even more happy and blissful. Not like people who are drinkers, after the so-called enjoyment, they vomit, they will be sleeping for hours or days, they will be feeling tired, exhausted, right? We even become more recharged. So there is a very nice prayer in Sri Chaitanya Chandramrit. It says, Kalaha kalir balena indriya vairi vargaha Shri Bhakti margaiha kantak koti ruddha. In this age, it is the age of Kali. The path of it is the age of Kali. The path of devotion is blocked by millions of thorns. And my enemies, who are my enemies? My senses are very strong. Right? The path of devotion in this age of Kali is full of thorns. And my enemies, which are my own senses, they're very strong. So I'm overwhelmed. So a devotee is praying to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, oh Lord Chaitanya, oh Chaitanya Chandra, if you do not bestow your mercy upon me, then alas, what shall I do? Where shall I go? That should be our prayer. We should just surrender, accept that we can't win over these senses. So take the shelter of the Lord, take the shelter of the devotional life. And who brought this mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us? Our own dear Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So very nice opportunity to maybe take a couple of verses from very nice song that His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj composed. Yadi Prabhupada na hoite, tabe ki hoite, e jeevan bahita kaise. Nitai gorera, apar karuna, ke dita sakal dese. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else would have disturbed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? Who else would have come to distribute Harinam to us? Who else would have come forward to transform our lives into civilized lives? What a great service by Srila Prabhupada. Great blessing of Srila Prabhupada. So what he did, he turned hippies who were engaged in all these sinful activities into happies, right? So someone once asked Srila Prabhupada, can you show me a miracle? He was in a class, and then he came to Srila Prabhupada after class. Can you show me a miracle, Swami? You are a Swami. Can you do me or show me a miracle? That person wanted to see that maybe this Swami could create some ashes or create some gold out of air, or read his mind, or tell him, who his mother was or father was when she died. He was looking for some kind of mysterious experience. These are miracles. And if we see this mystic these experiences or these demonstrations can be done by many mystics in the world. But what did Srila Prabhupada do? He explained to him that my miracle is that I have transformed hippies into happies by inspiring them with the association of Krishna, his name, his beautiful form. These people who were addicted to all these kind of sinful activities, who were rebellious, who were unclean, living very degraded life, now are perfect gentlemen, very blissful. They are engaged in selfless service. And more importantly, they are lovers of God. What could be the great miracle than this, right? So people forget that that these are our lives are going on such autopilot that we even forget that these are sinful activities. So everyone is afraid of death, right? Why we are afraid of death? Because it's an unknown arena for general people. What will happen after that? Nobody knows. Devotees know. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yamaha Samyantamam Aham. Among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. There are many living entities who give punishment to miscreants, and among them, Yama is the chief, Srila Prabhupada says. So, what happens to people who are engaged in these sinful activities? Yama arranges different kind of punishments for them. At the time of death, we don't die. The body dies, right? But the soul within the body, it goes through its cycle of reactions of the karma. But if we are purely fixed in Krishna consciousness at the time of death, all our preparation is for that moment when we will be leaving our body, so that we can stay fixed in Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna will take us back to his eternal abode, where we will participate with him in his pastimes, in his service. But if we are engaged in sinful activities, then we will be judged by Yama and will be given proper punishment. So this knowledge should be given to people. What will happen if we are engaged in these sinful activities? What will happen if we are engaged in devotional activities? That's the whole idea of preaching, right? Or supporting the preaching movement. So if we make a table of materialistic people or non-devotees versus devotees on these 4 points, so materialistic people or non-devotees, they are engaged in illicit relationship, which are based on selfish body consciousness. On the other hand, devotees are selfless, service-oriented relationship with Krishna and devotees. We can see the contrast in the relationship, right? Second point, intoxication. The non-devotee, it doesn't do any good when they drink or whatever they do. There are, especially in India, they arrange evening concerts like Ek Sham Krishna Ke Naam, one evening on the name of Krishna. They will do bhajan kirtan on that evening, but rest of the days, rest of the time, Daru Ke Naam, on the name of drinking, enjoying, right? So Ek Sham Krishna Ke Naam, rest Daru Ke Naam. But on the other hand, devotees, they are also intoxicated, but with what? Kirtan, service. This is their intoxication. Preaching, that is intoxication. Number 3, meat eating. It's like eating dead bodies. On the other hand, devotees, they will eat Krishna Prasadam, purely mode of goodness or pure goodness. Gambling, it involves risk, stress for non-devotees. So much risk, so much stress with gambling, so much speculation. People may even commit suicides. On the other hand, devotees also take risk, but for what? To spread Krishna consciousness. And although it's a risk, it's anxiety also for the service of Krishna, but it is blissful, very satisfied to the heart. And Srila Prabhupada showed us all these things in practice. So if we see, really, not to demean anybody or to compare, but to realize how much fortunate we are, no other spiritual organization, so-called spiritual organization, or no other organization, they focus so much on all these four principles. That's why it's not easy for a lot of people to digest or accept these four principles. But Srila Prabhupada said, and all our acharyas said, that this is needed for purification of consciousness. That's why so many people, they would be easily going to other places, but they had a hard time. They have a hard time to stay in ISKCON because there is no compromise for on these principles. Srila Prabhupada never wanted any compromise in these four principles plus the movement of Sankirtana. So Srila Prabhupada said, if we want to elevate the social condition, we have to teach people to become purified. Without being purified, it is going to be simply show of religious performance or religious system. So there are some also other points about how in our Vedas there are instructions which may seem contradictory, but the understanding is that they are for different people. So our Vedas instructions are mentioned for all kinds of people, one who are in the mode of ignorance, one who are in the mode of passion, or one on the mode of goodness. So the instructions for people who are in the mode of ignorance may not be true, may not be applicable for people who are in the mode of goodness or passion, right? So that's why many confusion happens sometimes. People will quote about meat eating, which is sanctioned in Vedas and all that. But if we go into the details, there is a description for everything. It doesn't mean that if we are practicing or we are in the better consciousness, that we should lower or degrade our consciousness. No, that is not the idea. The idea is to uplift each class of person, each consciousness, each category of consciousness, step by step, to the mode of pure goodness. That is the whole idea. Just like when the story of that Mrigarari and Narad Muni comes, what happens? Narad Muni sees that hunter is half killing the animals, right? And so first instruction was, I'm stating the story in very, very short. Narad Muni tells him that why are you killing half? Kill them full, right? Doesn't mean that he sanctioned that full killing is good, right? But he wanted to put forward the point that half killing is even more painful, right? And then slowly he brought him to the mode of goodness and made him a devotee. Very nice pastime. So Srila Prabhupada also, so what is very important here is when we study these scriptures or practice this path of devotion, because so many things are mentioned in our scriptures, it is highly strongly recommended that it is to be done under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Bhagavad Gita states that tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. We have to learn this truth, the supreme truth, absolute truth, under the shelter of a spiritual master, advanced devotees. We have to inquire from him submissively, and by rendering service to them, right? So Srila Prabhupada has a very nice purport in one of the words, that one who seriously wants to achieve real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. And the qualification of the spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusion of the scriptures. Then he can explain all these contradictions, so-called contradictions in our mind. He can explain and liberate us from there. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado. So service to the spiritual master, to the great devotees, to the advanced devotees, and then hearing from them. This is the process to understand this spiritual science. Very essential, Srila Prabhupada says. One must come to Krishna consciousness, and therefore one must take shelter of a pure devotee. Then he can become free from the clutches of matter. Now, just taking initiation is not enough, right? It's a formal way to connect with the parampara, with our Guru parampara. the important thing is to follow the instructions of a spiritual master. I mean, we see our spiritual masters, they visit us, they give us so many instructions. Are we really following them? That's the question. It could be as simple as, for example, I always encourage our local congregation to come to temple to celebrate the festivals. And this is the instruction of our spiritual masters, that all our festivals should be celebrated in the temple, right? It could be a small instruction or very, very, big instruction, doesn't matter. But everything we follow should be under the instructions of our spiritual masters. And Srila Prabhupada also gave a very nice 4-point formula. We don't have much time, but we'll go very quickly through it. And Srila Prabhupada explains in detail that we already read in the purport. That to eradicate, he gives an anti-corruption formula by principles of religion. By introducing these principles of religion, he says 2 compulsory fasting in the month. Because it will bring austerity. It will purify us. So he also logically recommends at least 2 compulsory fasting. So for us, it's Ekadashi, right? And he says even economically beneficial for the state, for the country. So much food can be saved. As long as we're not feasting and doing, whatever people do sometimes, right? So that's how we should do at least 2 fasts in a month. It is also medically proven that it rejuvenates our health. That it can cure us from so many diseases. Medically, there is a concept called as autophagy, that if you don't eat for so many number of hours, how your bad cells can be destroyed by your good cells. I'm not a medical expert, but the idea is that it will cure your body from so many diseases. So this regulation in eating and even speaking, so there is a gross austerity and then subtle austerity, right? So fasting from eating as well as not speaking too much, not speaking unnecessary. And we can do step-by-step progress in that also, right? Just like if we want to stop a fan, there are 2 ways. Either I can jump over and try to hang on to fan to stop it. That will be painful. Or I can adopt a easier way and switch it off and let it go slowly, right? So step by step, as much as we can handle. The compulsory marriage of young boys and girls at the right age, we all know that. So maximum 24 years for boys and 16 years of age for girls. So there could be challenges in today's society, but that is the formula Srila Prabhupada is giving. That will avoid all these illicit relationship problems, right? The citizens should give at least 50% charity. At least 50% of the income should be donated. Very difficult for us. But all the Lakshmi we have, it's not our anyway. It is for Narayan, for the service of Narayan. And when it is done in the mode of goodness, we should also be careful about what your consciousness when we are donating, right? It should be in the mode of goodness. And we should be also careful or conscious of where are we giving our donations. It should be Krishna conscious purposes. That's why we always encourage devotees to donate for temple, because we know all the money will go into the preaching. See, there is a formula or there is a rule that if somebody is gifting something to us, the karma also come to us. So that is why it is very important for people or devotees who do this service of accepting gifts or donations, that they use, it should be used 100% for Krishna. So as a giver also there is a responsibility, and as a person who is doing that service of accepting that donation and using it in the service of Krishna, also there is responsibility. Because when karma comes, then we are not purified enough to handle that karma. But when it goes, everything goes to Krishna, he's absolute. Then it becomes, the whole process becomes very purified. Also, there is a secret when 50% is mentioned, which seems like a lot. Slowly, when as much as we start giving or donating for Krishna, it is his own money anyway. Our tendency to enjoy senses will go away because we'll be left with less money, right? If you see logically, so automatically, if somebody is sensible, he says, "I'm giving 50%. Let me give 100% also," right? Slowly, anyway, I'm not enjoying any sense of my senses, right? So, kind of very subtle consciousness, that person will start giving even more slowly and give up his 100% life to Krishna. Then Srila Prabhupada gives that the principles of Bhagavatam should be preached everywhere. The Karma Yoga, meaning Karma Yoga as explained in Bhagavad Gita as it is, doing everything for Krishna's satisfaction. Regularly hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam. From whom? Authorized persons, not from just anyone. The safest way is one who is authorized by temple or realized souls, our spiritual masters. Again, the key word is authorized, bona fide. Nityam Bhagavad Sevya, every day, not like we come to the class for 1 or 2 days. This is for me also, but every day we hear Nityam Bhagavad Sevya. And we come to class for 1 to 2 days of the week, and then 2 days we are not able to, but we should try to come every day for these classes. Very, very important. Srila Prabhupada is mentioning as a very important point in this purport. Chanting the glories of the Lord at home, when we are alone also, as well as when we are in the congregation in the temple. Rendering or serving the Mahabhagavatas who are engaged in preaching Srimad Bhagavatam, who are pure devotees, who are spiritual masters, who are preaching and traveling selflessly, taking so much pain for us. And we should always reside in place where atmosphere is situated with God consciousness, meaning always regular association with fixed devotees, good devotees, avoiding other non-devotional programs. Very important. So we must strictly follow these 4 regulatory principles. So if we summarize everything, there is an equation that comes: 4 regulatory principles plus chanting and kirtan, seva, shravanam, Srimad Bhagavatam, serving devotees, association with devotees, and most important, we pray to Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Parampara, who are representative of Sri Balram, Lord Nityananda, and Radharani, to give us the spiritual strength and mercy. We cannot do anything without their mercy, without the mercy of our spiritual masters, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So we should always be in prayerful mood. Practically, what it looks like when we go to temple, right? We should not go casually. Very conscious where we are. Now we are in Krishna's abode with the devotees. Very conscious of our etiquettes. We should be always in prayerful mood when we are in temple or even at home. But practically, we can definitely practice in temple. Always pray to Srila Prabhupada, previous acharyas. We have such nice pictures of our acharyas there. Or Goswamis. Vande Roop Sanatana, Raghu Yogo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Always praying to them that I'm here, help me be in the right consciousness. Help me do my service in the right consciousness. Help me in being enthusiastic and even enthuse others, right? And if we can follow this simple formula, just be conscious of our consciousness, actually that is Krishna consciousness, then we can feel how quickly we can start feeling spiritual upliftment. Our happiness and blissful will go 100 times more, guaranteed. Just like, have you seen politicians? What they do when they, to get votes and for position, they will go to everywhere, asking and begging for, praying for, give me votes, give me votes. Similarly, we must go and pray to devotees, our spiritual masters, the whole parampara for seva. For what? Not for votes, not for position, for seva, for devotion to Krishna. That should be the humble mood. See, when people can get fooled away by these politicians who are lying, making false promises. See, imagine how much Krishna will give his mercy when our endeavor, or we will beg and pray seriously and honestly. That is so important. And Srimad Bhagavatam is revolutionary. The solution to all our material and spiritual problems. So today is Bhadra Purnima, very, very auspicious day. Most auspicious day to give and receive Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will highly encourage everyone to at least reach out to one person, to at least try, if we can gift them or encourage them to sponsor a Srimad Bhagavatam. At least to give it a try. At least reach out to one person today, or to your group, right? His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu said, the globe will never be the same. How did it happen? Because Lord Chaitanya wanted it to happen. We are just cooperating, just become instrument. Don't expect the results, but just do our humble, honest endeavor. He says, the more we advocate for this, the more we assume it can be done and do our part methodically. The more this will increase and bring pleasure to Srila Prabhupada. And according to our Vedic scriptures, by distributing a set of Srimad Bhagavatam on this wonderful day, or giving it as a gift, the giver goes back to Godhead. What could be more assuring than that? Such an easy formula. So please try, if we can reach out to at least one person today and encourage them to get or sponsor Srimad Bhagavatam. At least we should try. Shri Bhadra Purnima ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I really apologize. I took the whole 1 hour, but still
It's a very long purport, Prabhu. Very, very deep.
Yes. So maybe
Yes.
we can just take 1 or 2 questions, Mataji. If that is
Sure,
okay.
yeah, absolutely. Actually, as you were reading, I said I have to go back and really read this with complete silence around me and digest each line. It's really, really powerful, extremely powerful. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. We'd like to ask devotees if any questions, any comments, any takeaways, any additions, please do unmute yourself and share your comments. Yes, Prikshit, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Again, Krishna Prabhu, thank you for very, very nice class and analogies from the Shastra that you used. Just like you just heard, I also want to take time to read this purport slowly, deliberately, because there's so many points in here that Srila Prabhupada has brought up. So we have a good idea of how to approach our own purification. That's one. And secondly, from others who are not obeying the principles yet, how to bring them up to that level. So all of that was discussed. And it reminded me of one point that was made by Vrindavaneshwari Radhika Mataji in Philadelphia when we talked about meat eating. So she has, clients, customers who come to see her, and she, she was telling us that some of them were meat eaters, and to change them to vegetarian would be a shock to them. And so what they were doing was, he wasn't stopping them from eating meat, but he was adding the Krishna Prasada or the vegetarian recipes to it. And over time, they were changing. In other words, when they see the leaves of the rest of Krishna, how delicious the vegetarian food was, then slowly they would drop their other habit of meat eating, the other diet that they used to have. So that kind of, when you were reading this, the purport, that also came to mind, that it's just a matter of bringing people up from mode of ignorance slowly to the mode of goodness. And if they themselves are excited and want to know everything at once, then sure, bring them to goodness quickly. Some people get excited like that. They want, the answers because they are hungry for the answers. But thank you very much for this class. Yes, I do need to read the purport again and hear the lecture again. Good thing it's recorded, so we can just hear over again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing this wonderful point. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I have a question that actually I forgot, but I'm glad it came back. And I don't know, it just popped into my head. Well, Prabhu, when you're speaking about authorized scriptures, authorized devotees, authorized, to hear from authorized speakers. And what came into my mind out of the blue is like, when we go to certain official government offices, right? They have this badge that says authorized official. Anybody can be wearing that authorized official badge, but we don't know what baggage they're carrying behind them. So someone can say, but Mataji, I'm an authorized devotee. I'm initiated, or I'm authorized this, I'm authorized that. How do we know? How can we gauge? Like I used the example of an official, a government official, right? There's so many of them that are authorized, but we don't know what kind of life they live. So how can a devotee distinguish when someone is an authorized, member of the movement, of the organization, but how can they know if it's safe to take instructions from them on the name of authorized?
Yeah, very nice question, Mataji. A very nice point, in fact. So what do we do? Let's say somebody come to our home, and we see in our home camera or from our window, he's wearing a, let's say, t-shirt, from some company, and then he is claiming that he's from certain company. We do all the checks before we allow him to enter our house, right? We just not let it. So similarly, when we are talking about our spiritual life, when we are talking about bona fide authorized speakers or devotees, it is on us. The onus lies on us to do all the checks, make sure they're authorized. So it's simple, like the common sense, where we just go through the common sense checks and make sure that, for example, I always say that if I'm just speaking these principles of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, right, without any backing or without any bona fide backing, then I don't own that responsibility. I can say whatever I want. There is no check and balance, right? But when we become a part of the institution, part of temple, and are doing in any service or busy in any service, right, to the book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, then we follow the protocols, the discipline, and then we understand we are responsible for our actions, right? So I think that is a formula that we can just use common sense checks that we will do for anything else for in our life, to make it simple. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Because we have devotees who are innocent and they just think anybody is authorized. And when they take the wrong direction, then they just go down.
Absolutely. I mean, I see it happening so much in the devotee community also.
Oh, a lot.
People will just go everywhere and, things are happening on the name of devotion, but they are not really as per the protocols or proper system.
Yeah. And then also, even when they get the instruction, they're not ready to receive it. So, it's like, I'm reminded of Mother Gita, when she says that when when we're driving a car, when we have a policeman next to our side, we have to retake the instructions to drive carefully. If not, we're going to get a ticket. So in that sense, I think our spiritual life is just like that, that we have to take instructions and really, because, Prabhu, another point you mentioned is, taking a bona fide spiritual master, because spiritual masters will tell us things that we don't like to do, but we got to do it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and because we think we got to figure it out, but no, that's why we have Guru. The Guru is there to tell us. Prabhu, I was reading a very nice quote, if I can only find it, by Jayapataka Swami this morning, I think, or last night. I'm trying to figure out why Jayapataka Swami says that the duty of the spiritual master is to save. I'm just like pretty much like summarizing what he's saying, but he was saying that there it is. The Guru's only responsibility is to see that his disciple a spiritual son or daughter are liberated from the cycle of birth and death and get back to home, back to Godhead, that they achieve the pure devotion of Krishna.
Wow.
That is the only duty of the disciple. So if the of the guru. So if the guru is saying don't do that, then we shouldn't do it. So that's what I was asking. So even if we have authorized senior devotees saying, okay, but we don't do that, are we ready to listen? Because it's for the protection of our Bhakti Lata beach. So I was just thinking about that.
It's such a big responsibility he has and such an important part, right, of guru.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if we really want, if there is a goal, it's not a small goal we have.
Mm.
It's a very big goal. So if we are doing something very critical and that we are not well versed with, we'll definitely take the instructions from the experts.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. The word authorized, and it popped into my head with that, how can we distinguish? So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, takeaways, reflections from devotees? I would highly recommend devotees, when you have a little bit of time today, please take about 10-15 minutes, really go through this verse, this purport, line by line. It's actually this purport, as Dhira Krishna was reading it, to me, the purport was our life, how we should live our life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a very long purport, but it's life's instructions, how to live our life according to the religious principles that was given to us by Krishna. So I would really request devotees, we may think that we know it. That's when, we think, oh, okay, Maya, I got this. I don't need to read it, but please do read it. It's really powerful. I know I intend to, so does Parikshit Prabhu, he intends to. So please, one line by one line, really digest it. If you have questions, please do come to us. We would be happy to help you. And, and if you don't have the answer, we'll get the answer for you from another senior devotee.
So, Mataji, I will take a minute more because this is
Please.
Bhadra Purnima, and you mentioned a very nice point that sometimes we think we know it. So I was thinking about it, and then a very nice thing that I heard this morning, that what is the test that whether we really know it, or we are really thinking or absorbing it in our consciousness.
Mhm.
Any message that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, that should bring ecstasy to us. What kind of ecstasy? So there is a very nice thing that one devotee was telling. There is a temple of Adi Keshav in South India. It's a Lord Vishnu's temple. And there is a very nice, in addition to the main deity, there's a nice sculpture where a cow is there and she's standing on two legs and, kind of slanted and hearing the Krishna's flute. Behind cow, there is a lion, and lion's two legs or two hands, whatever you call as, on cow's shoulder. And behind lion, there is a deer who is in the same position where his two hands are on the shoulder of lion. Not only that, there is a cub, lion's, little lion, who is drinking the milk from cow, and there is a calf who is drinking milk from lion. So try to visualize that, right? Cow, lion, deer supporting each other. Then calf is drinking milk from lion, and cub is drinking milk from cow. And this devotee, so some devotees went there and they told the head pujari there, see, there is something mistake in this sculpture. So he smiled. He said, no, that's the ecstasy when we hear Krishna's flute. And what is Krishna's flute? This is the messages we hear from Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. So the point is that if we are getting that ecstasy, meaning that we have really understood the message of Krishna, we'll go haywire. All the conflicts, all the tensions, all the stresses will go away. So that kind of high benchmark we should have, that whether we are able to understand these messages or not. Just like Parikshit Prabhu and Mataji recommended, we should read these messages and see how much ecstasy are we able to get. Beautiful purports. Srila Prabhupada himself says, these are not just some writings, these are his ecstasies, personal ecstasies. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for adding some more light to that, Prabhu. Absolutely. It's actually, when we read it, we're actually associating with the Supreme Lord. So yes, absolutely. Thank you. We want to thank all the devotees for joining us, and we hope and pray that we all have benefited from this class. And we request you to add another extra benefit is to please read this purport. It's a very deep one. And we hope to see all of you. Looking forward to Sunday's program. And just a humble reminder, if devotees are able to come out tomorrow and support the book distribution team and the Harinam team at the Silver Spring Fall Fest from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, please do come out and join us. You know, it's the more devotees come out, the merrier, more support we get. Everybody gets enthused. So please do come out. And also, as Dear Krishna said, please reach out to at least one person. Today is the most auspicious Bhadra Purnima. Today is the most auspicious. If we can all reach out to one person that we can give the gift of Srimad Bhagavatam, please do let us know. And again, have a wonderful weekend. And we look forward to seeing all of you this Sunday for a Sunday program. Until then, Vanchakapudabhyascha, Kripasindobevacha, Patitanam Bhavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful weekend. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you. Hare
Wonderful
Krishna.
lecture, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Babaji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Brother Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Glory Shri Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
117:38. Okay.
Mhm.